This is Tournament Challenge. Today we are going to be picking our 2018 March Madness bracket. So, why don't we choose the bracket? Let's fill out our bracket. This year I'm doing it on Tournament Challenge, unlike last year where I actually had a paper. I did it on Tournament Challenge too, but it was easier to fill in the paper, but I just decided that I would just screen record my phone. Sorry if it's vertical. Let's start with the round of 24. 64. Geez, 64. I've watched a lot of college basketball this year. I've studied a lot of teams. Hopefully I'll be able to do well. Last year I got 75% of my picks correct. So let's see, we got Virginia versus UMBC. That is easy. Creighton versus Kansas State. I like Creighton. They've shown that they are pretty good. I'm going to go with them. Kentucky versus Davidson. That's a no-brainer. Arizona versus Buffalo. This one's actually a lot harder than you guys think. Buffalo's a pretty good team. But I don't know. I don't think we're going to see an upset yet, though. So we'll just keep it with Arizona. Now, this one's interesting. Miami, Loyola, Chicago. The reason why this is such an interesting matchup is because Loyola, Chicago, I watched them a little bit during their regular season and their tournament. They looked really good. They looked like they knew what they were doing. You know, they looked like they were here to compete, which is why I have them beating number 6 seed Miami. Up next, we got Tennessee versus Wright State. I got Tennessee winning that, 3 seed. Nevada versus Texas. This one is a really difficult one, but I think Nevada will pull it off. They're a little bit of a smaller school than Texas, but I still think we'll be okay. Cincinnati and Georgia State. And that's going to number 2 seed Cincinnati. My favorite basketball team, Xavier versus, doesn't matter. Missouri versus Florida State. I got Mizzou winning that one. Why not? My second favorite team, Ohio State University versus South Dakota State. Now, this might actually end up being an upset because Ohio State is kind of overseeded. They're really not great, but I still think they will win in that round. I shouldn't say that they're not good. They are a really good team. They're better than they've been in a while. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. Zags. They're going to win that one. See, Houston versus San Diego State. We've got Houston winning that one. Number 3 seed Michigan versus number 14 seed Montana. I will go to Michigan. Texas A&M versus Providence. This one is interesting. I got Providence winning, but literally just because they are a MAC team and they are not a MAC team. They're a Big East team and they're really good. I just feel like they're going to be able to pull off the upset versus Providence or versus Texas A&M. University of North Carolina versus number 15 seed Lipscomb. Well, this one's going to be North Carolina. And then in the East, doesn't matter. Villanova, number 1 seed, they're winning that one. Let's do Alabama over Virginia Tech just because Alabama, their team is just a little bit more... They're just a little bit more talented. They're very streaky, but I think they'll do all right. Murray State versus West Virginia. West Virginia is going to win that one. Marshall versus Wichita State. Oh, this one is actually kind of hard, but I think Wichita State will win it. Oh, gosh. UCLA, same... See, this is hard. This is a hard one. Because St. Bonaventure, like, they're really good. They're actually really, really good. They're sort of underseeded, in my opinion. But it's hard. It's hard to tell. We'll just pick Florida. Texas Tech over SF Austin. Arkansas. I got Arkansas over Butler. And then Purdue over CSU Fullerton, number 2 seed. Midwest now. Let's see here. We'll do Kansas. I got Seton Hall over NC State. Why not? And then let's do Clemson over New Mexico State. Charleston versus Auburn. Let's do Auburn. TCU's going to beat whoever plays against them. Michigan State will probably end up beating Bucknell, but you never know because Michigan State is terrible in the tournament. And then the University, oh gosh, yeah, University of Rhode Island will beat Oklahoma just because Oklahoma has just been awful lately. As much as ESPN doesn't want to admit it. And then Duke is going to beat Iona. All right. Round of 32. University of Virginia versus Creighton. Let's go Virginia. Kentucky versus Arizona. Let's go Kentucky because Kentucky is normally really good in the tournament. They weren't great this season, but they're normally pretty well. They normally perform pretty well in the tournament. Now, see, this one's a little bit difficult. Loyola Chicago versus Tennessee because Tennessee's a really good team, but Loyola Chicago, like I said, they're an 11 seed, but they are they look extremely well put together. The chemistry on that team is just amazing. But they are a small school. Let's do Loyola. Let's do Loyola. Loyola Chicago going to the Sweet 16. Nevada, Cincinnati, we probably got Cincy winning that game. Xavier is probably beating Missouri. Now, people are going to probably think I'm an idiot for doing this, but I do think OSU is going to beat Gonzaga, not because I'm from Ohio and I really like OSU, but because OSU, they've already beaten a lot of big teams. They beat Purdue, they beat Michigan State. The only team they can't seem to beat is Penn State, who's not even in this. So, let's do OSU for that. Houston, Michigan, oh gosh, let's do Michigan. UNC is going to probably beat Providence. Villy is going to probably beat Alabama. This one's difficult. Let's go Wichita State, but I wouldn't be surprised if West Virginia won that. Let's go Florida over Texas Tech because Florida, I don't even have a reason for that. I just think Florida is going to beat Texas Tech. Purdue is going to probably beat Arkansas. Kansas is going to probably beat Seton Hall. Auburn will probably beat Clemson because Clemson is sort of really high-seeded. Sort of. Let's see here. TCU will probably end up beating Michigan State just because Michigan State is awful in the tournament. I think I've already mentioned that. And then Duke will probably end up beating the University of Rhode Island. On to the Sweet 16 now. UVA versus Kentucky. Oh, jeez. Let's do Virginia just because they've been dominant. Cincinnati is going to be too much for Loyola Chicago, but hey, an 11th seed in the Sweet 16. What else can you ask for? Oh, gosh, my two favorite teams playing against each other. In the Sweet 16, I got Xavier. UNC will probably end up beating will probably beat Michigan. Oh gosh. Let me skip that. Let me just put Purdue in there. Let's do Kansas. Let's go Duke. Villanova is a really good team, and I'm well aware of that, but I do think, I don't know, Villanova's got to be upset somewhere. They're not going all the way. I feel like if any team is going to upset Villanova, it will be Wichita State. Let's do Wichita State. I feel like they have the best shot at upsetting Villy. I feel like they have the best shot at doing that. Alright, so there you go with that. Elite Eight. Virginia is going to probably beat Cincinnati. Xavier. I'm going to have Xavier beating UNC for reasons. For reasons. Not just because they're my favorite team, but because they are really, really good. They are a good team. Purdue will probably beat Wichita State. That's my guess. And then, just because Duke is Duke and they always do well in the tournament, they'll probably end up beating Kansas. So we've got, now in the Final Four, 2 number 1 seeds playing against each other against 2 number 2 seeds playing against each other. This is where things get interesting. If you don't like the pick I'm about to make, if you don't like the picks that I am about to make, I don't care. Leave a comment saying, oh, whatever. I really don't care. I got Xavier. I got Xavier going to the championship. And then, just because I think Duke will outplay Purdue, Duke will end up going to the championship. Now we've got the championship game. Who's winning this? Xavier versus Duke. Xavier has made it to the Elite Eight a couple of times, but that's the farthest they've ever been. They've never been to the Final Four. Duke, this is normally where you would find them in a tournament game, or in the tournaments, which is why I choose Duke. For the final score, let's do 69 because, funny. To 65. And there we go. So that's it. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys soon. I'll probably end up doing a recap video on March Madness. It depends on how I'm feeling. So until then, I'll see you guys.